Hello, I'm Jill Webb from Jill Webb Training. What I'm going to do today is show you what to do if a child's not breathing. It's a really difficult situation to find yourself in. Certainly something we hope will never happen to us, but it's important we know what to do. The first part of what we do is exactly the same as what you do for any adult or child that's unconscious. I'm going to go through that quite quickly, so if you feel you need to brush up or you're not quite sure, please have a look at my other YouTube videos that go into that in a bit more detail. And of course, I always love to get questions, so feel free to type me a question. So what we're going to start off by doing before I rush in is I'm stopping, I'm checking, is it safe for me to approach my casualty? Is there anything that could harm me? I'm considering my own safety. I know this child, so I'm not too worried about cross-contamination. If I am, I'm going to use gloves. If I'm out, I might not have a pair of first aid gloves tucked in my pocket. Think what else you could use. Even a plastic bag would put a barrier between yourself and the child. So what I'm going to do now is see whether the child's alert. Annie, can you hear me? Come on, if you can hear me, open your eyes. No response. Help, help. Head tilt, chin lift to get that airway open, really wide open so I can look down for 10 seconds, hoping to see 2 or 3 breaths. 7, 8, 9, 10. My mannequins are expensive, but they're not that good. This one's not breathing. So what I'm going to do straight away is start CPR. And for a child, and we define a child up to the age of puberty, some of that's going to be size dependent, we're going to do 5 breaths to start with. So I'm going to pinch the nose. I don't want to waste all my energy breathing, do I, for it to come out through the nose. Get that head tilted right back, and I'm going to make a seal with my lips around the casualty's lips. So pinch the nose, real tilt. So you'll see I did 5 breaths quite quickly, and you'll see that I looked every time to check those breaths are going in. The size of the breaths will depend on the size of the child, and you will, I'm sure, common sense will dictate that. You'll be able to see how much the chest's rising. I'm then going to do 30 compressions. I'm going to imagine on the child a line between the child's nipples. I'm going to take one arm. I find it easiest to use my dominant hand. I'm right-handed. And can you see I've got it really straight? I'm then going to kneel up, and I really need to get my body weight over the casualty. If I do this, it's not going to be effective. So can you see I've kneeled up, and I'm going to go right over the casualty, and I'm going to go quite quickly, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 and 9 and 10, 11, 12, 13 and 14, 15, 16, 17. And I'm going up to 30. That's 28, 29, 30. I'm then going to do 2 breaths, 30 compressions. You might remember Nelly the elephant. Nice little sing-along with Nelly the elephant's the right speed. I won't do too much singing on film. It might put you off watching my YouTube videos. Staying alive is the other one. 30 compressions. 2 breaths and another 30 compressions. 5 and 6 and 7. By now, you'll be feeling tired. CPR is incredibly tiring. And we're at 27, 28, 29, 30. So what I'm going to do now, if no help's arrived, I'm going to leave the child to phone 999. Now, I know that feels incredibly counterintuitive to all of those that work with children. What, you're going to leave the child? But actually, CPR is very unlikely to bring anybody, child, baby or adult, round. We're simply prolonging life. You've done a minute's CPR, and you can probably tell I'm slightly breathless, and I do this quite often. So actually CPR is really tiring. There is no point in keeping going if we do not know help is on the way. So if we don't know help is on the way, we leave the child, even if, perhaps that scenario is in the park, need to run back to the car to get my mobile phone, get it on loudspeaker, tell the ambulance service what you're doing. But you must make sure help is on its way. Do not keep doing CPR not knowing that, because to be absolutely blunt, you'll get to the point where you're too exhausted to carry on. So you stop CPR if medical professionals are in attendance, they're unpacked and they tell you to do so. Don't stop just because your mate says the ambulance is the other side of the park. You stop doing CPR if the child comes round. This is really unusual, and you should only stop if you are absolutely sure they are gaining consciousness. So you're going to be perhaps getting some responsiveness. If you're not sure, it's better to keep going. And just a quick hint, being sick doesn't mean that you're breathing. It's a gag reflux. If this child's just having his dinner and I start pumping away, very likely the stomach contents will come over and out, and I need to roll the child towards me but carry on doing CPR. The third reason to stop doing CPR is that you cannot carry on. Particularly important for adults because that's even more time, but even with a child that's possible. So I hope that's been a useful overview. You can use a defib on a child, and you'll see in a separate YouTube clip how to use a defibrillator. But that is the main thing that I want you to take away from this. Do that minute CPR, get help, and then carry on doing the CPR until help arrives. Thank you.